And welcome to a midweek special here at the Brohio Podcast. This is the Delicious Nicolicious. I'm here all by myself, guys. This was a very special episode to me. I got to sit down with Stacy's, my wife, her grandfather, who's been like a grandfather to me, and to set the stage a little bit here for this. A few months back, her grandfather fell and broke his, I believe it's a femur, a really big bone in his leg, and they didn't have a very good prognosis for him. It wasn't looking super great, but he underwent surgery. But when they put the anesthesia on him, they have, it's medically researched. When he came back to, he had all of his marbles beforehand. He was completely cognizant. He was fully aware of everything going on. But after he came back from anesthesia, he unfortunately lost all of his memory. I think the official diagnosis was early onset dementia, but he lost everything. He doesn't know his own children, his grandchildren. He vaguely remembers his wife. But the thing is, if you get to picking at his brain a little bit, some of it will fortunately come back, and he can still have a conversation with you. And he's a very interesting gentleman. He's 96 years old. He did serve in World War II, so I wanted to sit down with him and thank him for everything that all the happiness and joy that he's brought into my life. And it was really just an opportunity to talk to someone that kind of transcends our generation and time for the most part, because he's from a long, long time ago, and I think he really enjoyed the interview with me. I do want to apologize for the less than stellar audio. So what happened was I had a hard time getting him to speak loud enough into the microphone, so I had to turn his microphone all the way up, and I'm a big, nasty, loud podcaster. So my voice was being picked up by his microphone as well. So you get kind of an echo effect. And guys, I worked at this for like 2 days, and I only got about half the episode edited where I take the echo away. And it was just to the point, it was entirely too consuming. And so half the episode is going to be precisely edited. And the second half of the episode, I kind of just let it go. Brohio style, careless, just let the echo ride. So hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. This is a very far shift from the norm. There's no foul language. There's no off-color humor. There's some funny spots in here. But you can tell through the episode that his name is Joe. He's deeply... the dementia really has a grasp on him. At one point, he starts to hallucinate a little bit and starts to, I think part of that is what they call sundowners, and he starts to see a man standing in the room with us, which there was no man standing in the room with us, obviously. There was someone across the street that was banging on their car. We were in like downtown Phoenix, so you're going to get a little bit of that, the bang, bang coming in, and then right there at the end, his caretaker shows up, so we had to cut the episode off. But nonetheless, I did get to talk to him, and I did get to share some things with him I wanted to get off my chest, and I think he enjoyed talking to me and telling his story and telling some of his old stories, and it really meant a lot to me that he started to, when I would pick his brain, he would start to remember certain things. For instance, things about his wife and things about when he first fell in love with his wife and how he started his family and stuff like that. It kind of started off, he had no recollection, and then as I talked to him a little more, all of it came back. So this is more of just to bring an awareness to dementia, to bring awareness to a really ugly side of what can happen to your mind when you're fighting dementia and Alzheimer's. And it's something that I've never dealt with my entire life. As long as I've been alive, I've never faced anything like this. So it's really it's a new experience for me. It's a really sad experience, but I do believe he still has a stellar quality of life. He's a genetic marvel. He was one of the first people to ever receive bypass surgery. And I believe that was back in the 60s or 70s or something like that. And he's still holding on to that bypass surgery. There's not a very long survival rate for people with bypass surgery. I mean, there's usually, 10, 12 years. But for him to live this long after having that, it's a medical marvel. So, again, I apologize for the quality of the audio. Hopefully you guys can make your way through it. This is just a tribute I wanted to make to him. And he's really done a lot for me in my life in the 12 to 13 years that I've known him. So enjoy. We will be back to our normal schedule. The going forward now, we do intend to release 2 episodes a week. Our next episode is going to be a Patreon sponsored episode, and it's about some disappearances that will make you guys, it'll make your head spin. It's absolutely insane. It's a profound topic that not many people have covered. I'm reading about it right now, and it's completely just blowing my mind of how something like this could happen. And it's sad stuff, but it's really incredible stuff. So again, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Hopefully it brings a smile to your face. Just think about a little old man, 96 years old, that doesn't get to talk about himself very much anymore. And he gets to sit down with me for around 40 minutes and talk about his life and his experiences. And I do want to encourage you, if you have people like this in your life that are old, they want to talk. Just sit down and talk to them. I know it's kind of, we're watching the world go by with our faces and our cell phones. If you can just slow down for a minute and give these people the time, just give them an ear. They just want to talk. They just want to tell their story and tell you about their life experiences. And I think there's a lot of things to learn from people that have lived so long and had so many, people that have been through the Depression and World Wars. They know so much about life, and they have so much to learn. I'm sure there's times in their life it was felt like they were never going to win, and just they made it through. And I know a lot of times things can suck for us, and we just you gotta find that silver lining, and maybe they can bestow upon you what they did to help them get through those hard times. So enjoy, guys. Before we get into the interview, we are maybe or maybe not going to have a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you for listening. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, when everything gets to falling off of the refrigerator. Can you hear me?
I can hear you really good.
Okay, right about this with all the noise.
Well, that looks pretty good right there.
What?
You got your cookies and your coffee right here.
Well, go ahead and just put
those
them
are for
down.
you. I already ate.
Well, I did too, but this is a snack.
Those are for you.
I don't know what he's bringing. He might be bringing a horse with him. Anything.
Okay, so I just wanted to do a little interview with you.
Okay.
And talk about, just talk about your life, really, because you've been a lot of places and done a lot of different things, right?
And did a lot of things that I shouldn't have did.
That you shouldn't have done?
I'll be frank with you.
You've done a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have done?
That's right. Did I ever tell you about the story of getting in jail? Did I ever tell you that one?
I never knew you went to jail.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, I was on duty, and I was on a little vacation in my hometown. And I got 2/3 lit at this guy that owns a store that I always work with him when,
You said you got 2/3 lit, so you got a little...
I didn't have no 2/3 of that. I said he owned the store, that guy.
Okay.
I didn't own any of it. He had that from scratch.
But you guys were drinking booze.
First World War.
Were you guys drinking some booze?
Huh?
Were you guys drinking some booze?
Yes. Yeah. And we go in the back of the store and we...
What were you drinking?
Solid booze. That was a mistake. And finally, I got so much booze in me, I walked out of the store, and he didn't try to stop me that day or evening. And I walked out downtown to where this town began, and a cop approached me.
Yeah?
And the first words he says, "You been drinking?"
Did you tell him the truth?
Some. Some, almost a bottle.
A whole bottle? Oh, man.
Yeah, we went down to the liquor store and bought it. Me and I think I went and bought it and brought it back up to the store. And we went to the back. We drank the thing, and by that time, I walked out of the store. He kept saying, "Now, Joe, you ain't got no business going downtown." He kept telling me that. Well, it didn't sink in good enough.
Yeah.
I
didn't listen to him.
It didn't take.
Yeah.
I just started going downtown and get to that place where the cops generally patrol.
Right.
That one come to me and says, "Sorry, you've been a little full, aren't you?"
Were you in the military at this time?
Huh?
Were you already in the military?
Yeah, I was in the military.
Uh-oh.
And he says, "I'm looking for a place to go take a nap." He says, "I got a place. Come on." Right upstairs to the second row. He opened a door with a bed. He says, "There's your bed." And he shut the door back.
Oh, no. He put you in jail.
That's right. This is what he did. The next morning, this guy that I was always pals around with that owns the store, the cop called him and says, "Have you got a GI, government guy in your jail?" Yeah. He says he wanted a bed last night, and I gave him one. He says, "Well, let him out." And the guy come up and says, "Do you know so-and-so?" I says, "Yep, I sure do."
Uh-oh.
And he turned around and opened the door, and he says he wants you to come back to his store.
Yeah.
Just like that, and opened the door.
But
Away I went.
At least you got to take the nap that you needed, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I was 2/3 lit in the wind, and I couldn't hardly navigate it all. And I got it all in his store.
So it wasn't your fault. It was his fault.
Oh, no, it was his fault because I'd take his car and I'd go down to the liquor store and get a quart or whatever I had money for and from him, and I'd take it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Where was that at? Where were you?
Appalachia, Virginia.
Appalachia.
My hometown.
Okay.
And I was just spending time with him while I was there. I wasn't paying much time to my family, mom and dad.
Sounds like he was a bad influence.
I was.
No, it sounds like he was a bad influence.
Well, he was. But every time I'd do any work in the store, somewhere along the line, he'd give me $1 or $2 or $5 or something occasionally.
Yeah, sure.
But he wouldn't make a permanent thing of it because I wasn't working for him.
Right.
But I do a lot of things for him, and I don't charge him either.
Yeah.
And I'd go down to that store and just enjoy being there.
Sure. And that was the first and only time you went to jail, right?
First and only time.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm trying to think if while I was a GI, did I get put in jail? I was a GI then, for that matter.
Well, let's go back. I'm going to go back to the beginning here for a second, okay?
How far back?
Well, a few months back, you had a fall and you hit your head. You might not remember it.
I don't.
But whenever you fell, you lost some of your memory.
I did?
Yeah. Do you know who I am?
You must be a doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor. I'm your granddaughter's husband.
Okay.
My name's Nick.
Okay.
So we've known each other for about 13 years. Okay.
We have?
Yeah, you were at my wedding and everything.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's pictures and everything. I can show them to you. Actually, you paid for the wedding.
Where did you get married at?
In Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, you come up through home, and then we went to Ohio.
Yeah, no, you flew from here, from Phoenix. You flew from Phoenix to Dayton about 10 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you took good care of us. You paid for the wedding.
Sure,
you did. You paid for it.
I meant to.
Yeah, and but one thing I just wanted to say right off the start here is whenever I was you haven't known me my whole life. You've only known me for about 13 years. But my grandparents, they all passed away before I was born.
They did?
Yeah, but then I met Stacy, my wife, about 13 years ago. Uh-huh. And then I met you shortly after that.
Okay.
And you've been like a grandfather to me. I know you had you fell and bumped your head, so you've forgotten a lot of stuff. But I just want to say thank you you've shown me a lot of love over the years.
Well, I knew things were good.
Yeah, and you've been really good to me, and you've been really good to my family.
I meant to be.
So
I wouldn't have been.
So I just want to tell you I love you, and thank you for everything you've done for us over the years.
I appreciate it.
And I know that you don't remember, but that's okay, because your heart, you still have the same heart. You still have a really good heart, and that's what people care about.
Now, where did I start to meet you?
You met me, so I started dating your granddaughter, Stacy. We started dating.
Oh, that's later down the road.
Well, that was about 13 years ago. And then after about 2 years, we came here, and I met you for the first time.
We came here?
I know. Me and Stacy did.
You and Stacy came here?
Yeah, we came here and we met you. Well, I met you for the first time.
Well, what was I doing here?
You were just sitting on the chair. Well, when I got here, you came to the door and you gave me a big hug. That was the first time I came here. And then I've come here for vacation, a couple times a year ever since then. But then
sure.
you fell and you hit your head and you forgot a bunch of stuff.
I did?
Yeah.
It must have been a hell of a blow.
Well, actually, you broke your leg. That's why your leg hurts. You fell and you broke your leg.
Well, it don't really hurt that much.
Well, that was a few months back. But I just want to say thank you for,
Well, I appreciate it.
You've been like a grandpa to me, which I never really had a grandpa. So
you guys are married.
Me and Stacy are. Yes.
You and Stacy.
I take good care of her. I got a good job.
Sure you do.
And we got three beautiful daughters.
There you are.
And we make, everything's perfect. So
that's all you need, all you want, and all you need.
Yep. So
and a place to work. That's the name of the game.
But I do this thing called a podcast, but it's like a radio show.
Oh, what a podcast!
It's called a podcast. Yeah, where I talk to interesting people. Podcast. It's like a radio show. You ever turn on the radio and listen to people talk on the radio?
Not very much.
It's just like that. It's kind of like that, where I make a radio show because we got these microphones, you see.
That's okay.
And then I record it, and then I let, a bunch of people listen to it. And I always talk to interesting people, and I thought that, you've had a lot of experience in your life.
I would hate to put it in there, especially about the military.
Well, we're not going to talk about anything super secret, okay? Just normal stuff about your life.
My life.
Yeah.
But there's some I might not bring to light.
No, that's fine. You can leave out anything you want, or we can talk about anything you want. So you've told me some really good stories over the years since I've known you. And
as long as it don't pertain to the military other than...
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about anything super secret. No.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about.
Well, nothing that the military needs to be needs to know.
Do you know what year it is right now?
It's what year it is?
Yeah.
No.
It's 2020.
2020.
2020. Do you know how old you are? How old do you think you are?
Well, let's see. I was born in 4/11/23.
You are 96 years old now.
Yeah.
96. That's pretty good.
And I don't do what I used to do.
Well, I'm only 31, and I can't even do what I used to.
You should be able to.
I'm getting too fat, man. I can't even tie my shoes like I want to anymore.
I got that trouble, too, sometimes.
When I bend down to tie my shoes, I get out of breath. I can't breathe because my big old belly gets in the way.
Well, you have to kind of well, look at this. I didn't have that when I went in the military. Not one bit of it.
That's all right. Now, that's good. What's the secret? What's your secret to making it to 96 years old?
Oh, Lord.
You've lived a really long life. People don't live to be in their 90s very much anymore. So
the time I could do it, I went to church with my mom and my dad. Mom stayed home and did the Sunday morning cooking.
Right.
For dinner.
Yeah. So you think going to church is one of the secrets to living a long life?
One of them, I would say.
Okay.
Because Sunday, Dad had all 5 of us dressed going down that hill that we live in and cutting off there at that last one to the right, what do you call it? And
in Appalachia.
In Appalachia there, and going straight on out to where the church is, or was. I guess it's still there, or it's not there. I don't know.
Do you remember who the president was when you were born?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I would have to look it up too. I don't remember off the top of my head who it was.
I don't know what the president would have effect on me.
You know who the president is right now?
I have no idea. I know who it was.
Who was it?
Who? Huh?
Who was the president?
Who was?
Yeah.
What the heck was his name?
Who was the last president you remember?
That's the one I remember. That's the one that they're trying to get rid of.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Trump.
Yeah. Okay. So
he's it.
He's the one with the orange skin and the big poofy hair.
Orange skin.
Yeah, he's got orange skin.
Because I don't pay attention to them people. They send me ballots, and I look at them and
doesn't matter.
Throw them away.
Nothing matters.
Well, I figured I've got the rank. I can do it,
right?
If I want to.
Well, one of the most interesting things that you've lived through is, how old were you when you joined the service?
I hate to tell you.
I think I know the answer.
You know the answer?
Yeah. You were 17, right? You were 16 or 17?
17.
And you had to sign your mom or your dad's name to get in, right?
I think I did. I'm not for sure. See where things go blank on you?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I really don't know.
You know, whenever a lot has changed since you joined the military. Everything is completely different now. So anything that happened back then doesn't really matter too much.
Tell me.
Yeah. And do you remember what year it was when you joined the service?
30-something.
30-something. So you joined right before World War II, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, there's not many people left that were there's not many people left alive that were in World War II. So, yeah, it's
which I never pay much attention to.
Yeah, it's been close to 70 or 80 years since
70 or 80
years since
the First World War,
since the Second World War. Yeah, and you were in it. There's not many of you guys left. And
if I read it, I don't remember what I read. I'm like, let's face it.
No, it's okay. So I do want to say thank you for your service to the country. Thank you for being a veteran.
I'm glad to be.
Yeah. I think you've been in 2 different branches, though, haven't you?
I was in the Army.
When you first joined, you were in the Army.
I was Army.
Okay.
And then I don't remember whether I transferred to Air Force while I was in the Army or whether I came out and re-enlisted in the Air Force.
I
don't remember the difference.
That's all right. Whenever you joined the military, did you think that there was going to be a Second World War? Whenever you joined, you didn't think there was going to be one?
Another war?
Yeah.
I didn't think there'd ever be another one.
Yeah.
I'm a little old. I'm just a little guy at that time.
Yeah.
And I don't, what I could say back then, they didn't pay no attention to it. If they did, I don't see any of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you remember where you were at whenever you found out that Pearl Harbor had been bombed?
No.
You don't remember where you were at?
I don't remember.
That seems like
I wasn't overseas. I don't think.
You think you were still here stateside?
I think I was. I'm not for sure.
Okay, because there's a lot of major things that happen in people's lives, and they remember exactly where they were at when
they do.
Happened. Yeah. So, like, one thing that my parents, they remember where they were at and what they were doing when John F. Kennedy got assassinated. That's Do you remember where you were at when John F. Kennedy got assassinated?
That's the latest president.
No, the latest president's Donald Trump. John F. Kennedy is from the 60s.
60s?
Yeah.
Kennedy.
He's the president that got shot while he was in the car with his wife. You remember that? That's all right.
No, I don't.
You just live here in your cave and watch the world go by out the window, right?
I guess that's what it has been all of my life.
What'd your mom and dad think whenever they found out you were joining the military?
My mom says, I ain't gonna help you. That was a starter.
So they didn't like it that you were joining.
I've got one thing I better not.
No, it's okay. You can tell it, and then if I can cut it out later.
Let me think of what it would be.
So you said your mom, she wouldn't
sign it.
She wouldn't sign it.
Sign the form.
Oh, that's okay.
My dad took me to the recruiter anyhow.
Right, and even though your mom didn't want you to go. So
she didn't know part of it.
When she found out, was she upset?
Not too much.
Well, that was, Appalachia, that was kind of a small town, and joining the military, that was kind of like moving on to bigger and better things. So.
It was.
Right, because there wasn't a lot to do in Appalachia.
No, there weren't but mines. That's all there were.
And that's how you die young, is working in the mines.
Right, and a lot of them did, too.
Yeah. I've worked in a mine a couple times, just on small projects, and that is no way to live or work. That's
not for a person making a living.
No, that's a miserable experience.
Dad, he tried it and he quit.
Yeah,
and he got a job with a grocery store.
Yeah, that's right. Your family had a grocery store when you were growing up, right?
No,
he worked there.
Dad worked there.
Okay,
and he worked there until I don't know. I had hit the army and gone.
Yeah.
My
wife has some of your old paperwork, and she said that she was looking at your old report cards from school, and your report card said you move around too much. That you were too squirmy in your seat. And you didn't pay attention.
It could be the case.
Does that seem like something you would do?
Just about in my young day.
That's okay.
but after that, things started changing for me because I was kind of building up myself up.
Sure, I understand. Now, when you got into the military and you got going, and then the war started,
that was a doozy.
Okay,
that's all I can say.
What did they do with you after the war started?
I was trying to think. See, I was a medic.
Yeah, that's what I've talked to you. I've talked to you before, and you said you worked in supply. You're a supply sergeant.
I was.
But then you never told me about you being a medic before.
But I was with the medic.
Okay,
that was the beginning.
Right, I saw your. I think it's a Geneva.
You might have
your Geneva card.
You might have.
What do you carry What did you have to carry the Geneva card for? Do you remember? I think part of the Geneva Convention was if you were a medic, you weren't allowed to be taken prisoner or...
oh, yeah. That happened, too.
Right.
Well, it was during the war.
Right.
If you were a medic, and I was...
They weren't allowed to take you prisoner.
Well, I wasn't allowed to take me prisoner, but it didn't stop me from drinking either. If I wanted to drink,
if you wanted to drink, you had to drink.
They stuck me in the hospital up in, let me think of the country. From India, I got up to Burma.
Okay.
And from Burma, that's where I was with a field hospital.
Right.
And something happened to me, and they stuck me in this permanent hospital.
Right.
It was one of ours, but it was permanent. There wasn't but about one sitting around there, and that's the one they stuck me in.
Yep.
And when I did thaw out, here come my buddies with cigarettes and everything else, which I used. And I'd drink with them, and I'd do this, and I'd do that.
Right.
And they had the booze, and they had the smokes.
Right.
And I got back in the corner and sit down with the rest of them, and they weren't prisoners. They weren't sick or anything.
Yeah.
I was the only sickling, but they got in there with me, and we had a field day. That's all I can say.
You guys got in all kinds of trouble, huh?
Just about. That's what I got in. And they finally kicked me out of the hospital. Says, you don't need to stay in here any longer.
Right.
He says, you're about as good as you're going to get.
Did you ever have any moments during the war where you were pretty worried, where you thought, that your life might have been in jeopardy at all, or were you pretty much in safe spots for the duration of the war?
Well, safe spots, I wasn't ever worried.
Okay, but
it's the spots that weren't safe that we were at.
Where were those spots at?
Over in Burma.
Oh, in Burma. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Were you guys?
Yeah, that's where we got just changed because a plane would come over and it would drop a. I forget what kind of a notice. I've noticed it.
A bomb?
A bomb.
Yeah.
They could care less because they're coming out of India.
Do you know what country was bombing you when you were in Burma?
Some of India was bombed.
India? No. Do you know what country it was that was attacking you when you were in Burma?
No, not today. I don't.
That's all right.
It's in my record somewhere.
Sure, I bet it is. Yeah, I just didn't know if you remember it off the top of your head or not.
I don't know what it was in that, but it was in some of my record.
Yeah. Whenever were you still in Burma when the war was over? When the war ended, were you still in Burma?
Oh, I got transferred before it was ever over.
Where'd you get transferred to?
Close to the end of the United States. I was trying to get a transfer back to the States.
Do you remember where you were at when the war ended?
That particular place, I don't, because the major, the colonel, he looked at me and says, "You wanted a transfer, and now you got it."
Yeah.
I said, grin like a possum. I says, "That's all he says. You're going back to somewhere." Something. I looked at that orders. I says, "You don't know it, but I'm going back to wait for further assignment to the United States."
Right.
And that's how I got back to the States.
Well, that works.
Come all the way down to from there.
Because they dropped those two big bombs on Japan.
They did?
To end the war.
Well, that's what happened to it.
Right.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
It didn't faze me.
Yeah.
I could care less about it.
Because the news travels differently now than it did back then.
Right.
Back then you guys didn't really get the news instantly like we get the news right now.
No, we got it down the road.
Yeah. So you didn't know about what was going on
until
we didn't
until
it was after the fact.
I didn't know. All of a sudden I wanted to transfer out of this outfit back in the War 6 section.
Yeah.
And the general or the colonel or the commander looked at me and says, "You know what? You wanted to transfer and you'll get it. You're going back to the United States."
Yeah.
I could grin like a possum. I says, "Thank you."
Thank you. See you later.
That's right.
That's good.
It wasn't long till the little, what do you call these vehicles?
I don't know what
small vehicles that about two people ride in. They had two or three of them hanging around, and it's put one in the front seat of the pilot. We moseyed down to India, and we moseyed on over to where they load for transfer to the United States.
Yeah,
yeah.
And away you went.
The way I went.
Well, that's a good deal. And then, when did you meet your wife?
I don't remember that. I'd have to look at some papers.
Did you meet her after the war?
I don't remember. It could have been after or before, but I wasn't married when I went in the Army.
Oh, yeah, right. Whenever, you've told me the story about whenever you and your wife first started dating each other, you used to take her out and get her chicken.
Get her chicken?
You used to
get her some chicken?
Get her some fried chicken. You guys used to go to the...
Oh, we would.
Yeah.
We'd have a field day.
How'd you guys do that?
I forget who that was.
Your wife? Vera.
Was it?
Yeah, you remember Vera?
Vera.
That was your wife.
That was my wife back then.
Yeah.
When I was a GI.
Right, yeah. And you told me you used to take her to you said there was a lake, and you guys used to get a bucket of chicken, and you guys would go sit by the lake.
That's what we'd do. We'd get us a notice, notice to where we could go out and...
Yeah, leave the base?
Well, we wouldn't leave the base. There was a big lake there on the base of Carswell Air Base, and we used to get bucket of chicken and go up on the side of that wherever all that water was down there, and we'd sit up there, and every now and then we'd see the B-47s flying out in early hours of the morning and stuff like this.
And you just sit there with her and eat a bucket of chicken.
That's right, her and I, whoever it was. I don't even remember who. Yeah, I should. Let me think.
That's the way to a woman's heart, is to buy her some fried chicken.
Yeah.
It worked for you, right?
Well, I guess she did. No, she didn't really. I don't know how I ever got in cahoots with her.
All women are bad news.
Well, they are and they aren't.
Right.
I mean, I can't say they're all bad.
They're good for some stuff.
Well, we went out on that. I'll never forget it. It was the side of a big thing. What would you call it?
A mountain?
Mountain.
Yeah.
And we got up on the side of that mountain and we ate chicken till daylight almost. And yeah, we could go look down there, and Carswell Air Base was right into that junction there. And I said to myself, maybe I'll get transferred to that stupid place. That's all I could call it at the time.
Yeah.
And I had this friend with me, and I picked up out of that, where she was a cashier in that joint. It joined that mountain.
Right.
And we were right down, and then we had some water down in there, and I don't know how much it was, but you didn't get close to it.
Right. Because you're way up in the air. You're
up in the air, going down either one. Planes, they were going and coming. One thing hit me. I was going to do a transfer with a guy. And as I went through a gate, somebody said, "Whoa." I looked back at him, and he says, "You don't come through this gate ever." That's going from the planes take off and land.
That's where they hide all the aliens at.
Well, it could be. It could be anything there, because it was in, I forget where was it? Texas somewhere. Sounds like it.
Yeah, I know you were in Texas. I just don't remember what part of Texas you were at.
Fort Worth, Dallas.
Yeah, that's what,
like
everybody in the Army goes to Fort Worth.
Sure, I liked it.
Yeah.
And but that was a Texas Air Base.
Right.
And I was asking for a transfer. And that's how I got out of that crazy place. And it was back there until I finally got a discharge. Shook my head and went on about my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the night that you finally proposed to your wife?
It's been so long.
You told me this story before, too.
Did I?
You said that she used to keep you up all night long. You guys would eat chicken all night long.
Yeah, we would eat chicken and chatter. And
then you were getting tired of sitting up all night eating chicken. And you said, how about we just stop doing this? How about we just cut to the chase and we just get married?
Oh, we did, too. That was the one from Kentucky. She brought her son down there. And her.
That was Vera.
And she was going to get a job there somehow, and she did get a job. She was a seamstress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you said, I'm tired of sitting up all night eating chicken.
Well, that's what we were doing, looking over the little whatever that was there at Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It ran from one end of the base to the other, and then it went out into the sea, I guess. I don't know.
And then you just said, let's get married.
Yeah, after so long a time, you want to get married? And that little David, his son, her son.
Right, and you adopted him, right?
I adopted him. And I said, shoot, I'm tired of sitting up all night.
And then you guys had a son of your own.
Yes.
What's his? Do you remember his name?
The son?
Yeah.
The only son I remember would be David.
And there's another one also. He's asleep here right now.
Huh?
He's here right now.
He is?
He's sleeping. Yeah. That's Joey.
Joey?
Yeah, or Roger. His real name's Roger.
See, I don't remember him.
But his name's Joey. He's asleep. He's asleep here right now. But then he had a daughter
He did?
Named Stacy.
Stacy.
And that's my wife. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, all right. You remember. That's good.
I didn't remember it, though.
Well, that's better than you've been doing. That's pretty good. You remember that.
Here's the funniest thing. We got married that night, that evening. And then we got in my car, whatever, and we took off toward Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in Texas, but we took off toward Dallas. And we stopped about 20 miles out and got us a motel. That's where we were going to spend the night.
Yeah.
After we got married. This gets good. Get up in the morning. I started looking for money. I didn't have any. I'd spent it all.
Oh, no.
She'd spent all of hers.
Uh-oh.
I said, man, we go up quick without a paddle. We can't even pay ourselves out of here.
So what'd you do?
Well, I said, okay, you just settle back in bed, get yourself some more rest, as I'd call it. And I said, I'm going to go to the base. I had my car there with me.
Yeah.
I got in the car and I went all the way down toward Fort Worth, and then I backed into their base. It was this entrance. Went up and it was payday.
Oh, there you go.
I got my pay. And I had enough money to go back and bail her out of jail. That's what I called her. I said,
she was stuck in the hotel. You had to bail her out of the hotel.
Yeah. That was really something. And we finally got us a place to live.
Yeah. And
we had her son, David. But then she didn't want to. She was getting to where she didn't want to take care of him too much.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you send him back to his dad? His dad didn't want him either, and that's what made him kind of mad.
Yeah. Looks like there's somebody here.
Oh, that Wycombe's open.
Oh, I think there's someone here that takes care of you.
Me?
Yeah, there's someone that comes here for 4 hours a day to check up on
I
you.
ain't going to get no head borscht. I don't want it.
I'll tell them we're not doing it.
Well, we don't have no business to do.
Yeah.
Tell them nothing. In fact, I won't do it until she approves it.
That's okay. Well, I'm here. They told me I could take care of you while they're gone. I'm taking good care of you.
They did?
Yeah, they said they had to run to the grocery store real quick, and they said that I could take care of you while they were gone.
Is that where they went?
Yeah. And I'll make sure they don't. I'll make sure they don't wash your head.
No, they won't want it. You don't have the one that you can do.
I'll tell them no.
You don't want to.
I'll tell them to get the heck out of here.
Well, no, they're pretty good people. I like them.
That's good.
They sit in here a lot of times and talk too.
Well, yeah. We'll just probably have them sit down, and we can finish up our interview if you want.
Don't make any difference.
Yeah.
I don't want them to know what I've ever did.
Well, we've already talked about the other stuff. We've talked about the stuff we don't want them to hear. It's okay.
In the military, out of the military.
Yep. And then you came here where you're living at right now in Phoenix.
Yes, that's what it is, isn't it?
You're
I
in Phoenix.
retired completely.
Yeah, I think you had around 50 years of service when you retired.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of time in the military.
I don't know where all of my records are. They're somewhere.
I got them at my house.
Well, good.
Me and Stacy have them in a safe.
Just hang on to them.
Yes, sir.
All I can say.
They're
because I don't know whether I got them or not.
Yeah, we got copies of them, and we got them all put up. We got all your stuff. We got all your ducks in a row for you, because we're trying to.
I'm glad you do.
Take good care of you.
Yeah.
And you got some cookies and some coffee there for you, too.
Yeah, don't you want one?
I don't know. I'm trying to quit. I'm getting too fat. I got to quit eating
me
cookies.
Too. That's why I'm eating them.
You deserve a cookie. Now,
my life in the military was good.
Yeah, you enjoyed being in the military.
At the beginning, it wasn't very good, but it got better and better and better.
It wasn't good because you guys were in the middle of World War II.
Well, that's when it got good, I guess.
I guess depending on how you look at it.
Well, I looked at it that way. I figure it's getting better. They're gonna do something. I forget what I said offhand, but
right.
I figured it would be for the benefit of me.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
Yeah,
whatever it would have been.
But
then things has fallen to suit me just fine.
Yeah, I think you've done all right for yourself. For some, some
little
hillbilly from Appalachia
that didn't know beans. I didn't.
I don't know beans either.
I didn't.
I know beans make me fart. That's about all I know.
Didn't. That would be a woman if she comes in there.
Oh, is she coming in?
I know. She can't get in, can she?
Oh, no, she's still sitting out in her car.
Good.
I'm watching her. She's out in her car still. She's
listen.
They just come here and sit with you and talk with you, but that's what I'm doing right now, so.
You ain't making that noise.
No, it's something, there's someone's working outside.
Outside here?
Yeah, someone's working on the, it looked like there's someone working on landscaping outside. That's that banging noise.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had about 50 plus years of service in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 96 years old now.
I guess so.
Yeah. So you've done pretty well for yourself.
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah. And
I can't complain at all.
And you said that the key to making it to 96 years old is going to church.
I believe it was.
What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite thing to eat? What's your favorite meal?
Just anything good.
I know you're like a garbage disposal.
you just pick something and put it in there. Whatever you want to do.
About it's been a few years ago that me and you went to Golden Corral. We went to the buffet place.
We did?
For dinner. You and me, yeah. And you ate so much fish that I thought they were going to kick us out of there.
I don't remember that.
Remember that. They had some tilapia, some fish.
Yeah.
Some fish fillets, and you ate so much fish I thought you were going to blow up. I thought you were going to explode. And then when we were done, you leaned back and you started patting your belly. You said, I better not eat any more fish.
Hey, mister. Is that a mister standing up there?
Nope.
It looks like him right there.
Not yet.
It looks like a head.
Nope, there's nobody up there.
Well, I don't know who that is.
Oh, she's sitting in her car. I can see her still.
Well,
she's probably doing her paperwork. She's like a medical professional. I'm just like your grandson, like I'm your grandson-in-law. I'm Stacy's husband.
You want one of these?
Nope, those are for you. Those cookies are for you. But it looks like she's coming inside. So, well,
you can go tell her ain't nobody home, and you don't know when they're coming.
No, it's all right.
It's up to you.
That's okay. Well, thanks for doing the interview.
I'm glad you got it.
I appreciate it, and I want to say again, I love you, and thank you for everything you've done for me over the years.
I didn't get nothing.
Yeah, you have. So,
if I have, I did the best I could.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm going to turn this off, and thanks for doing the interview. Okay.
Okay. Glad to have you.